This is a reading for Warren, and his question was his ex-fiance had contacted him. That was kind of causing a little bit of confusion, so he just wanted to see what the cards would have to say to kind of clarify the situation. So for this reading, I'll be using the Gilded Tarot deck, and I've selected the relationship spread. The relationship spread is a 15-card spread, and I also had a jumper as well. So the first card here talks about what you provide to the relationship. The middle card is where you stand in the present, and the third card is where you hope to stand in the future. This card here is where what they are hoping for in the future, where they stand in the present, and what they bring to the relationship. This is how you view this other person, and this is how this other person views you. This card here is how you perceive them in the past, and this is how she perceived you in the past. This card will represent your present fear and doubts, and this will be her present fear and doubts. This card represents external influence motivating you and external influence motivating them. And then I have the future of the relationship. And then up here we have the jumper card. So before I get started, I just want to do a quick prayer. I call upon my angels and my guides to please be in contact with Warren's angels and guides. May you provide a clear and accurate reading. I also call upon Archangel Michael to please surround us in white light, so that may only divine messages come through. Perfect, so I'll get started here. So again, the first card was what you provide to the relationship. And for this card here, we have the Ten of Wands reverse. So the Ten of Wands reverse talks about taking on too much, avoiding responsibilities. Now, Wand is an action card as well. What this is saying is, because this is what you bring onto the relationship, you tend to take on too much. You tend to be the type of person that in a relationship you want to take care of everything. You want to fix everything. And this is kind of just this is what this is representing. This is kind of what you bring into a relationship. The second card is where you stand in the present. And for this card here, we have the Chariot reverse. Now, the Chariot reverse talks about lack of control and direction, aggression. So I think it kind of like frustration and a little bit of unsure of what to do. This is also a major arcana card. Now, I've done some readings for you in the past, and this kind of goes along with that. You're making changes right now, and the path isn't clear to you right now, and that could cause a little bit of frustration on your side. So this is what this card is representing here for where you are in the present. Now, the next card is what you hope, or where you hope to stand in the future. And the card that we have here is the King of Cups. So now Cups again represents emotions. And then the King of Cups talks about emotional balance and control and generosity. So and I also kind of like to see the royals as kind of representing individual. King tend to talks about more of a wiser side, right? So your hope in the future is to kind of really be in a very stable emotional situation where you can kind of share your generosity and that it's well received, right? So because we've discussed that in previous readings as well, mostly in relationship you need to have that emotional connection, right? And this is kind of reflecting that again, right? Your need for strong emotional balance. Now, the next card we have is what they are hoping for. And the card that we have here is the Three of Pentacles reverse. So the Three of Pentacles talks about disorganization and financial disarray. Now, obviously, this isn't something that somebody would hope. What I'm thinking this card is really saying here is this is what she's fearing for the future right now. This is how she's viewing the future. So she's just kind of really fearing her financial situation down the road here. And this is something that's kind of dwelling on her right now. Now, where she stands in the present, for here we have the Six of Pentacles reverse. So the Six of Pentacles talks about debt, selfishness, one-sided charity. So it kind of indicates to me that she's got herself in some debt here and she's kind of looking for a handout. It doesn't look like she's, looking at improving the situation, more just kind of like finding that easy way out, something that'll just kind of patch this up for her. Now, for the next card, and this is what she brings to the relationship, and for this one here, we have the Six of Swords reverse. Now, swords talks about ideas and thoughts, and for this one here, we have, this card kind of means cannot move on and carrying baggage. So it looks like she's got, what she brings to the relationship. She's just got a lot of baggage that she's kind of is carrying with her. She's kind of stuck in that situation. She's not moving on. This is something that in a relationship it would surface, right? Now the next card that we have, this card talks about how the other person is viewed, so how you view her. And for this one here, we have the Seven of Pentacles reverse. Now, for the Seven of Pentacles, talks about lack of long-term vision, limited success, and reward. So, now, this is a relationship spread, and I don't know if you've noticed, but there hasn't been a lot of cups. And the cups is the card that talks about emotion. There's been more on the Pentacles side. So, with this one here, the Seven of Pentacles, kind of saying, like with lack of long-term vision and that sort of stuff, you're not seeing anything concrete with her. You're kind of not feeling that, right? You don't see anything long-term with her at this point. Now, for the next card, this is how she views you. And we have the Three of Wands reversed. So the Three of Wands reversed talks about lack of foresight, delays, obstacles to long-term, obstacle to kind of the long-term. So what this is kind of saying, now one talks about action. So I think she's kind of seeing you really as like a way to her means. I think she's kind of reconnecting here just in the hopes to kind of hopes that some of the issues that she has will be resolved, because you have tendency of kind of taking care of that sort of stuff, right? When we looked at the card of what you brought into the relationship, it talked about how you tend to kind of take on too much. It kind of sounds here as that she's kind of reconnecting with you, hoping that you will. So the next card here that we'll be looking at is how you perceive them in the past. And for this one here, we have the Nine of Pentacles. So the Nine of Pentacles talks about gratitude, luxury, self-sufficient, culmination. So it kind of seems like you were grateful for the relationship that you had in the past. Now this is a Pentacle card though, so I don't see that there was a really strong emotional attachment per se. But obviously you were committed. You were grateful for what you had there. The next card that we have is how she perceived you in the past. And we have the Five of Pentacles. So the Five of Pentacles talks about, debt, I'm looking at the wrong card here. Isolation, insecurities, worry, financial loss or poverty. So it kind of looks to me where in the past she was kind of never really fully committed either. You know, she's kind of kept herself a little bit isolated from you. She worried about the relationship. It wasn't really what she wanted. But then again, this is a Pentacle card as well, which talks about resources. It wasn't an emotional connection for her, right? Now, the next card is your doubt and fear for the present. And for this card, we have the Star reversed. So this talks about lack of faith, despair, and discouragement. So you're kind of getting discouraged with the whole, well, relationships in general, but mostly with kind of this one. I think you're kind of, you're not having a whole lot of faith in this relationship. I mean, obviously it hadn't worked out in the past. It's kind of coming back again. As you mentioned, this is an ex and an ex is an ex. And I think this is kind of supporting that kind of, or it's just kind of, you know, kind of indicating that those are the type of thoughts that you're having there. You're just kind of having a worry, you know, a bit of a lack of faith there. Now for her, her current fears and doubts, we have the Ace of Pentacles. So now the Pentacle is coming up again, which talks about the resources. Now the Ace of Pentacles talks about manifestation, new financial opportunities, and prosperity. So I really get the sense that she's got herself in a bit of some financial hiccup here. And she's kind of worried that she can't get herself out of this. It really kind of looks from this spread here so far that her motivation tends to be more on a monetary resource aspect of it. Now the next card that we have is the external influence motivating you. And for this card, you've got the Two of Pentacles reverse. So the Two of Pentacles reverse talks about disorganization and financial disarray. Excuse me. So it's kind of, I think it's what this card is kind of saying, like you have tendencies of wanting to fix problems for people. So the external influence here is you may have to that kind of reflex, or that impulse might kick in here for you, where you'll feel bad and want to kind of step in and help out, right? Excuse me. The next card that we have is the external influence motivating her. And for this one here, we have the Eight of Pentacles reversed. This one here talks about perfectionism, jealousy, perfectionism, lacking ambition, or focus. So what this is kind of saying is she has a certain, I guess, expectation of what she wants her life to be like, but she doesn't have the ambition to attain it herself. So she's kind of reaching out to you in hopes, or kind of that, so that's the motivation, right? So trying to get that type of lifestyle that she wants without having to kind of self-provide is kind of what I'm seeing this card to mean. Like I said, in this spread, you've had lots and lots of pentacles. It really has that monetary resource feel to it, right? Which is not really what you want in a relationship spread. In a relationship spread, I'd like to see more emotions. Now the next card that we have, this is the future of the relationship. And for this one here, we have the Knight of Cups reversed. So now Cups finally talks about emotion, which is what I expect out of a relationship spread. Now this is a Knight of Cups reverse, however, and what this is saying is unrealistic, you know, jealousy, moodiness. I think if you pursue a relationship with this one here again, it's going to be an emotional strain for you. It's because there's not that, her motivation behind wanting this relationship is not emotional, and in this card we know that that's what you crave and that's what you need in a relationship. You need an emotional connection, so that this type of connection here would kind of really cause you know, kind of emotional strain on you. Now, we also had a jumper card come up, and as you know, jumper card tends to pop up when there is a special message that your angels and guides really want you to have. So the jumper card that came up here was the Nine of Sword reverse. So the sword talks about logic, ideals, and thoughts, and what this card is saying is don't sweat the small stuff. Getting perspective. Says don't overthink things. Let the right relationship kind of, I still kind of see that you should wait for the right relationship here. It says don't overthink this. Trust your instinct, trust your gut. Don't try to force things into being what it shouldn't, and don't worry so much about it, okay? Well, Warren, this was the reading for you. I hope that it resonated and that it brought you some insight on the confusion that you're kind of dealing with right now. And I hope that you have a wonderful day.